Good evening, and welcome to Try Not to Die Thursday. And hello, Ask Lad. Long time no see. Also, hello, Ark. I did see you earlier, but I was running around doing all sorts of announcements and things, so I didn't say hello at the time. Alright, tonight I will be playing Darkest Dungeon again for Try Not to Die Thursday. This is actually episode 10 of Darkest Dungeon, which means that this is going to be the last episode of Darkest Dungeon, just for a little while. I feel like it's time to move on and play another game, but I have every intention of coming back to Darkest Dungeon at some point in the future, and continuing to play this exact campaign. Just wanted to put some dots in the chat. All right. Well, let's just run over to the live scene because I actually have chat show up on that one. So, as usual, we are starting off where we left off last time. And definitely our next mission is in the Warrens. Hopefully there will be something good in the Warrens. Cross fingers and hope. But also, our team is starting to get up there. And I think it's time to start treating traits and locking in traits on our level 3s. In particular, I've been thinking about it all week. Because, scrolling down, one of our level 3 Vestals, amongst this pack of Vestals, has the trait Hippocratic, which makes her healing better. And I want to lock that in. There she is, Dakra. Dakra is not going on this week's mission because she's going to the sanitarium. We're going to lock this trait so that it can't be overwritten by another trait later on. Yes, she's almost level 4. This Hippocratic is possibly one of the most useful positive quirks for a Vestal that there is. And I absolutely want to lock it in, despite the fact that it costs 8,400 gold. So, yes, you are going to be a better person. You're never going to lose your Hippocratic Oath. Now, that aside, we should probably choose another one of the level 3s and get rid of a negative trait on them. We're going to leave the Vestals alone for now because we've got a Vestal in. So, yes, the bank will make some of it back from the next mission, we hope. Let's see, Reynard here has locked in God-fearing and night blindness, which are not too much of a problem in my opinion at the moment. But this fear of Eldritch, there are so many Eldritch monsters. This needs to go. So we are going to cure his fear of Eldritch this week. For much, much less than locking in that Hippocratic Oath. Look at that. Not even 2,000 gold. So, those two will not be available for our missions in the Warrens. And I don't have enough statues to raise the treatment ward cells to 3. Alas. So, it'll just have to be 2 at a time for the time being. But I don't have, except for the healers, I don't have a massive number of level 3s yet. The healers level up so fast because I take at least one of them on every mission, so. And while we're here, did I check the stagecoach before we left? I doubt it, because there's a Lamia in here, and I definitely would have remembered seeing a Lamia. Now, we do already have 2 Lamias. But since I use them as a healer class, it's not a bad thing to have more, if this one is good. Well, this one is medical assistant, so if she goes to the medical ward, you might get money back. And she's a ruin scrounger. Huh. She's also fascinated with corpses and has extra stress if beasts are alive. She's not the greatest. We have yet another Crusader. I don't know that we need 3 Crusaders. I'd rather have another Man-at-Arms, frankly. Oh yes, and before I forget to mention it, my text-to-speech bot is indeed active for this evening. So by using !speak, you can get her to talk for you. Just because. But yeah, this one, he has extra crit on his melee skills. That's good. And he has extra blight resist. That is also good. He's obsessed with killing. Do I really want a 3rd Crusader?
Arc_water_bot. Episode 10 will bring a death.
It is entirely possible. Well, let's see. We've also got another flagellant. This one has death blow resist, and his upgrade cost is less. Ah, that's another thing that I need to do with my level 3s, is just go through and raise their armor and such. But, yeah, we'll deal with that as time comes. He's also marked by the flock, which is and he has slow reflexes, not good. And another jester. A shopping episode. Quite possibly. You know, this episode 10 is the last episode of Darkest Dungeon for a while, so I'm just going to start treating everybody's diseases and quirks and stuff, you know, just before I send them on a long-ass vacation. But yes, let's see. This one is a fast healer, so extra healing skills when camping, so-so. Come back and they're like, why am I so broke? Exactly. And has quick reflexes, that is good. But has extra stress if beasts are alive, and has less accuracy against them. And will only pray for stress relief. Okay, at least for the time being, I will take this Crusader because he is actually fairly good.
A mighty sword arm anchored by holy purpose. A zealous warrior.
I'm not sure what we'll use him for, but we've got him kicking around now. So, and the Warrens only have veteran level quests. I mean, we could attempt going after the boss, the Swine King, in here. But that is the question. Our Arbalist is only level 2, and our Musketeer is only level 1. Speed run the game. Oh boy, there is a lot. There's still... There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 areas, and 4 areas, 8 8 times 2 is 16, so there's 16 bosses left and 4 levels of the Darkest Dungeon, and that's not counting the farmstead. I have a few... I don't know that I can actually do that. I'm not sure I could level up fast enough. I mean, yes, there is that achievement for taking 4 level 0s into the Darkest Dungeon, but that's entirely for the meme. I wouldn't expect it to succeed. I don't think I even have 4 level 0s that I would want to take. Well, they wouldn't necessarily have to die, because the achievement is really just for taking them in there. You can go in and then you can back out pretty much right away. But the problem is that backing out of the Darkest Dungeon, it will take one of your team members. Just they're dead. They're a sacrifice for your escape. I'm not entirely certain I'm into that idea. Although, all things considered, we could take these 3 level 0s, which aren't great, from the stagecoach and add another level 0 next week, and do it straight up for the meme. You know, let's make episode 10 just straight up weird in a special way. We'll take these 3 here.
You will be laughing still at the end.
Yeah, these 3 plus 1 more random individual will go into the Darkest Dungeon. But not this week, because there needs to be 1 more level 0. Preferably one that takes a front spot. And also because this week we're going to the Warrens. Name them all Jeff. I might. We'll see, we'll see. We'll decide when we know who the 4th one going in is. Now, we could go after the Swine King, but I would really want to take my Arbalist along for that, because they have a skill that clears marks from the party. Very handy with the swine fight. But the Arbalist is only level 2, and I worry for their survival getting to the Swine King. Possibly. It's just the next mission I really want to do in the Warrens, because this extra resolve and extra damage in Warrens only lasts for the next mission. If I don't take a mission in the Warrens, it's gone. So perhaps leaving aside the boss, but going on some other veteran mission. We have a medium for completing 100% of room battles, which results in a Berserk charm that anyone can wear. Interesting. Speed, damage, extra stress, less accuracy, and less virtue chance. Dang. Risk the Arbalist. But I only have 1 Arbalist. And a long... No, I don't want to go on a long mission. Long missions just aren't worth it. I mean, yes, the prizes tend to be better trinkets, but the amount of stuff that you have to take with you just reduces the amount you can loot so much that it's really not worth going on the long ones. Oh yes, the boss quests will always be there. So the Swine King is going to be there until I defeat him. The Necromancer is going to be there until I defeat him. The Alluring Siren is going to be there until I defeat her. And the Hag will just hang around waiting for me until I defeat her. The other quests are the ones that move around. So The Arbalest may be alive when you return from the boss. The future will tell. I know, but I want the Arbalest to survive to reach the boss. That's the thing. So I'd want to send the Arbalest on another green quest to level them up to 3, just to increase their chances of survival. So I think that we're going to attempt this 100% of room battles on the medium quest. I don't know if I'll ever actually equip that Berserk Charm because I don't like adding extra stress, but... it's all in the details. It's always in the details. Now, the question is... we have our level 3 Flagellant here, who doesn't have anything specific for the Warrens, but doesn't have anything specifically against it either, so let's take the Flagellant. And we'll scroll all the way to the bottom to where our healers are living. I really should move the Lamia below the Antiquitarians. Oh, I can't actually do that in the selection screen. No, I don't want to take McDowell with me. Oh, virtue runs are hard. Oh, I don't think I have any of the right trinkets for that. Let's see. I mean, there is a trinket that increases your virtue chance. Yeah, there we go, the Hero's Ring, but I only have 2 of those. Not the greatest of chances there. Do I only have 2 of those? Yeah, I only have 2 of those. So, maybe not. So, we should take along one of our healers. Perhaps Gildersleeve here? Perhaps we should take Gildersleeve and Vestal. Because it's a pity that this Rose's Offering only works from the front 2 slots, whereas everything else is workable from the back. Sure, let's put her there. And do we have a Vestal who's particularly... oh, here we go. Pierpont here is a Warren's tactician. Even if she is already a little stressed. Now, we're not touching those level 0s at the bottom. They're meant for a special purpose in the future. Now, we could take the Salamander, who is a Warren's Explorer, very handy. Or we could take our Grave Robber, who is not anything specific to the Warrens. Let's take the Salamander. Alright, this is the team that I am going to take. So we're going to go back to town and we're going to massage them. Because I have cash now. I have so much cash now. So we can raise everybody's armor and weaponry. Where'd that Flagellant go? he is. Because he's my... should name Cruel Nemesis. I could probably do that while I'm skimming by. Where'd that jester go? Let's see if it fits. It fits! And while I'm here, I can move the Lamias closer to the druids. I'm sure they'll get along. Okay, and we want to take our heir that we're taking along specifically to the guild, because this skill is not going to be very useful. This one, however, I'm going to take that and we're going to raise it. I'm going to raise that. We're definitely going to raise these. And we'll raise these on the Vestal because I can. And you know what? The Salamander's looking good. I'm happy with the Salamander. I mean, it's only 200, so, you know, let's raise these just because. Whoops. I didn't mean to exit out of there. I wanted to pull up the flagellant as well. Oh yeah, he hasn't been very massaged, skills-wise. I think the main problem is that I only really find 2 skills on the flagellant to be truly useful. I love flagellants, but it's just, it's punish and it's Rain of Sorrows for me. And the other skills are well, I could use them, but I'd rather hit something. You've reached a spending of almost 25k so far. Yeah, I mean, I have the cash. I have built up the cash for reasons like this, to do stuff like this, to be able to raise characters and treat their diseases and stuff like that. Just piling up money for money's sake, it doesn't do me any good. Hit themselves instead of others. Well, yeah, they like that. And oh yes, I just remembered, I'd forgotten to check their camping skills. Back and forth and back and forth. Alright. Pep talk, pray, sanctuary. Alright, we're good for camping. As long as the Vestal lives, we're good for camping. Oh yes, and trap chance. That's going to be the weird one this time around, I think. Alright, 40%, 40%, 50%, and 30. Alright. Whoops! I've accidentally unselected Salamander. Get back here, Obear! You're our trap person. And because you're our trap person, you get the trap book. Where is the trap book? There it is. Flagellant should be a 0 for traps. Maybe. I mean, I can't exactly argue against that. Alright, we'll give her one of the healing charms. I don't actually intend to use the air for very much healing. But also, yeah, let's remember to switch skills. I don't exactly intend to use the air for much healing, just she's there as a backup, so let's give her a bleed stone. Heck, let's give the flagellant a bleed stone too. We'll give each of them a bleed stone. We'll laugh all the way. And I'm just gonna give the salamander a speed stone because 5 speed is kind of ridiculous. Let all of them have bleed stones. Yeah, but only the flagellant and the air actually have bleed skills, I am fairly certain. Oh, no, the salamander does have a bleed skill, I just don't have it equipped. I don't know what of these things I would give up for that lacerate skill, so... if I feel like I need it, I'll swap it for Sweep Kick. But yes, let's go in with this. Not the Alluring Siren. We're gonna 100% of room battles. And I only had 2 bleed stones, so the shrug. Okay. You know what, we'll take that whole stack and that whole stack. We'll take 3 of those, 3 of those. We'll take the entire stack of shovels. We'll take all the food. We'll take a bit of laudanum and we'll hope that we don't need it. And 16 torches. Time for death of the monsters and ... You really want somebody to die tonight. You're very bloodthirsty tonight, Ark. But I don't want to buy it all. I'm going with paranoia levels of treatments and such, but I don't actually want to buy everything. Blood for the blood gods. Okay. Let's do the thing. The swine are resistant to disease thanks to their unclean living, which is why you get diseases a lot when you go to the warrens. But yes, I don't know that I would have chosen to go on a veteran level mission as the first mission tonight if it hadn't been for the extra damage and XP in the warrens.
They breed quickly down there in the dark, but perhaps we can slay them even faster.
Oh no, Ark. Ark, no. Alright, we've got scouting right off the top. That is excellent. Unfortunately, it does not go to the room that is directly underneath us. Which means we're probably going to have to at least go to the room before it and hope that a scout goes off. Sadness. But it is otherwise a fairly easy dungeon to hit most of the rooms of. I'm not saying it's a fairly easy dungeon in general, but at least there's a good pattern for not having to backtrack very much. Alright, let's go to the first room battle. And our first trap. Oh, Bear, you're up. Hurrah! Oh, it's a pile of scrolls. Oh, that is excellent. Who has a negative twerk I want gone? Aesthetic, calm, perfectionist. Bad gambler, diurnal, God-fearing, and unquiet mind. Just a germaphobe. I took a germaphobe into the Warrens where there are so many diseases. What have I done? And obsessed with cleanliness and obsessed with material things. Huh. I'm going to attempt it on Seuss in the hopes that it clears off that perfectionist. Yeah, I brought the two worst healers into this place. But yes, I'm going to hope for... Okay, we burn the scrolls. And he lost perfectionist. He will no longer get stressed out if his attack misses. Hooray! That was well worth a torch. To the first battle. Oh, and there's a drummer there. Oh, lovely.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
There goes all the luck in this run. We are going to do our best to try to clear this drummer as fast as possible. 4 damage. Oh, darn it, it still gets a turn. But it is dead now. I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's dead. So, let's see what sort of damage this does. Oh, more tentacles, of course. Everybody's blighted and it's not okay.
Soothed. Sedated.
You get a debuff for being grossed out in this game. Alright. This worm thing's nearly dead.
Press this advantage.
But now it's totally
Give them
dead.
no quarter.
If you take the tentacles out of this game, then there would only be like 25% of the game. You know what, Ark? You are not wrong. Yeah, let's... well, everybody is pretty healed except for the Vestals, so... Eat
As
book!
the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
Well, let's just... There we go.
Their formation is
There we
broken.
go.
Maintain
I feel the same way when
defensive.
someone shows me a book I don't want to read. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, a plague doctor trinket. Nice. And here we have a dining table, and you put herbs on that. Extra food and a torch. It was a nasty battle. Okay, what do we have here? 2 damage per round, 1 round left, 2 damage per round, 2 rounds left. Okay, we're going to give an anti-venom to our salamander, but our flagellant can just continue to suffer. Alright, I'm gonna go down to this room and hope that we get a scout on that last room. Dining table in the warrens full of disease and death. Yep. We cleansed them with herbs. Medicinal herbs made everything better. It's perfectly edible food. Whoa.
Cruel
Dang, she
machinations
failed.
spring to life
Alas.
with a singular purpose.
But in fact, we do have lots of extra food, so we can... Yeah, one more. There we go. Yeah, you do that. As long as you do it with something that doesn't need to have something put into it, I
If
have no
only
problem.
treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Oh yeah, plenty of people around here like to use herbs to help themselves. More's the pity that I'm allergic. Well, I'm not getting a scout, so I guess I have to go into that room. Traps again.
Ancient traps lie in wait.
Do we
Unsprung
dare
and
read?
thirsting for blood.
You know what? Our flagellant is hardly stressed. Read something. He's become nocturnal. That's not very helpful. Oh, I forgot to turn up the torch before going in there. Oh, and I wish I had. Oh dear. Turning the torch up. Pray for me. These things are so dodgy. Look at that, 9 dodge. What is that thing doing with 9 dodge?
Precision and power.
Oh good, bleed got going on the one that I want dead. Good dodge. Debuff everybody. And
Continue the onslaught.
there we go.
Destroy
All right.
them all.
From this point, we concentrate on the Squid Boy. That works on the back. This one works on the front. Oh, it's got so much bleed resist. Oh, if only I could actually set things on fire. Well, let's just spread a little
The wounds
heal.
of war can be healed, but never hidden.
I sincerely hope that I don't. But I think this team would have more fun dealing with the collector than with this thing. Aha! It's bleeding! Oh! That was a big hit.
Impressive.
Good timing for a crit. Leave my heir alone.
Their cursed champion falls.
Okay. Nice big heal for the air. Let's fondle the party with tentacles to heal them.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Alright, I got portraits for that. Portraits are good. So far, there have been a lot of room battles. Okay. Oh, okay. We'll have the air deal with that. Ah, pity. Sometimes you can get an effect off of those things. Challenge the devs of this game to remove all tentacle shaped objects. Oh, I don't know that that's possible. There's an awful lot of tentacles in here, and donuts are not anywhere near the same shape. Yes, everybody eat up. 75% of the game to be donuts. I think you want a different game. And another drummer. Just my luck. Oh, and a stealth character. I forgot to check for somebody who could deal with stealth. That's my mistake. Alright, the drummer's done. I don't have to worry about the drummer anymore. Well, let's try to stun this guy up front. Hooray! Darkest donut.
For death by inches. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Well, AoE ignores stealth, so let's do this. Let's just... There we go. Oh, good dodge, thank you. That takes care of Hook Boy. Dodge an invisible attack. No, that wasn't an invisible attack. That attack came from the Reaver. The Reaver was never invisible, thank goodness. The party's in pretty good shape. Let's try stunning him again.
A singular strike.
Ha ha! You just missed your turn. Oh yeah, he's done. We can do whatever we want now. Heck, let's use the oomph attack just because we can. 5 whole damage from the oomph attack, huh?
Ghoulish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Well, let's dump some more herbs into this table. 10 more food! Which gives me 2 to feed to the salamander. Imagine if you could worry about the amount of times you could use a move in a dungeon. Oh, I know. I'm glad that they didn't add skills like that. There are ones that you can only use a certain number of times per combat, but they never actually made anything that was a per dungeon skill. There might be one or two of the mod classes that have something like that, but I don't believe that I have any of those classes on me. I'm gonna go up. And another trap.
Curious is the trap maker's art. His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
When did you start bleeding? Okay, the pile of bones, you put holy water on those.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Oh, deeds. I will take the deeds. Alas, that means I'm leaving the jade behind. But honestly, I'd rather be able to upgrade my town. I'm not listening to you when you say that, Ark. Just the whistling of the wind outside of the dungeon. Okay, that's an empty room. But we don't know what is below us. I'm going to backtrack. I will just skip that fight entirely. And we'll go to this room instead. Oh, another pile of scrolls. Oh, I'm very glad I came this way. Alright, who still has a negative quirk I want to get rid of? Yeah, I know that Nocturnal's not great, but I think Aubert wins this time.
Arc_water_bot. Take the money, who needs food, be greedy, the adventures, 1T complain, new ha 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 ha.
Oh, they will certainly complain should a hunger check come up. Hello, mister, good evening. Yes, Aubert is going to be the one to reap the benefit of the scrolls today. Shove a torch right in there. No longer God-fearing. Now she's just a bad gambler. Good evening or good morning, whichever one it counts for you, mister. See, there's one of those hunger checks I mentioned. Does a ghoul count as a people? Oh no, I do not like this, Sam I am. I don't like there being a ghoul and a drummer here. Well, you see, mister, if you've slept, it's morning. If you haven't, it's still night. The heads around the neck probably were human at some point. Alright, I want this drummer gone. I do not like ghouls. Ark, I'm not sure if you're one who can point fingers in this matter. Okay, the drummer is done for, so let's start concentrating on the ghoul here.
A decisive pummeling.
Excellent timing for a crit. Man, why do ghouls do so
Slowly.
much damage?
Gently. This is how a life is taken.
Oh, why won't you die? Please die.
Gnawing uncertainty. The birthplace of
Well,
dread.
there's that stress I was hoping not to have. What is your stun resistance? Oh, it's 70%. Never mind. Group heals for everyone.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
That was kinda less than fun, but at least it was victorious. Hello, Friend Zone. Good evening. Thank you for the lurk. Okay, where are we in the dungeon here? Okay, I will proceed into the next room, and then I will go into another room from there. I'm not sure which one yet, and I will camp in that other room, whatever it is. Possibly I will go up to that empty room and camp there. Are you lurking, Ark, or do you just like the command? And it didn't tell me what the one in the corner was. Alright, we're going to go up to the room above us, going to camp there, and then go across and straight down. Well, thank you for the lurk. I really enjoy the command. That's why I wrote it that way. Alright, upward. I will certainly take that extra torch, yes. Here we are in this nice, empty room. Oh, and that one in the corner is also an empty room, which means that the last battle is that one unscouted room at the bottom. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll go across. I will camp in that room. And I will take advantage of the lower torch for better looting on the way. Yeah. That wasn't worth it. No, there may well be more blood. But yes, we'll camp here.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
We'll have a nice feast because we have lots of food. We'll use Sanctuary. Ha-ha! Now, we have 8 respite points left. What shall we use them for? We don't need healing. We could have the salamander overclock herself. That seems like a good prospect for 3 points. We could increase someone's stress, but also give them extra accuracy and speed. We could increase scouting chance. We can reduce some stress on... Sadly, that's on the Vestal, who is the one who needs the most stress relief. We can bless a companion. And we could pray. Well, let's see. I'm going to bless the flagellant, I think. We're going to have the salamander overclock herself. Haha, what a rush, she says. And yeah, we're going to give the Vestal a pep talk so that she gets less stress for the next 4 battles. Ooh, that's a neat pep talk. I like that one. Alright. Everybody have a nice sleep. May the pigs not come upon you while in your rest. The time in the wheel just without all the spiders.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Okay, we're just gonna move a few things around so that the empty slot is in a place that makes more sense for me. There we go. More anti-venom is good. Alas. I'm going to be fancy. I'm just going to stick my nose out into this hallway. Oh, it's books. Never mind. On to the battle. Not that battle. I'm not going to do the plus 40 stress on the flagellant.
Arc_water_bot.
Masterfully executed.
I will stick my nose into the hallway, but never into books.
Nah, if I can't read the titles from the doorway, I'm not touching them. Okay, I can now ignore that one. Oh, pity, it resisted the stun. Oh, I'm not basing the entire book on the title. I'm basing the entire book on whether or not I can see the title. Not that one, that one. Oh, that's quite a hit. Stop that, it's gross. These monsters have no manners, none.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay. Holy water on the bones.
Glittering gold, trinkets and
okay,
baubles.
that's 750.
Paid
That's
for in
500.
blood.
That's 375. I've got the one that I want. I've got the most expensive one. It's mine. The book said, touch me and die, and I will give you a disease, and I would not want to touch the book. Well, exactly. And the effect that the books give is so random. I'm so close to completing this dungeon. I just want to do this and go. Ew. Hey! Surprise! Surprise is good. Oh, blast. I can't reach her. Fine, well... I don't like this at all. Judgment upon you! Yeah, let's just debuff them. Oh yes, definitely. This is the last room, the last thing. I will give up a lot of things for whatever is in that chest. Okay, I can ignore the occultist lady now. Not my salamander. Well, it couldn't resist the bleed forever. They're attacking my salamander because they know she's overclocked. Let's give her an anti-venom. There we go. She felt so much better that she just swung wildly.
A powerful blow.
That was a good crit.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Ugh, great. Now there's a giant corpse in the way. You know what?
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
I do not like the noise in the
Seize
Warrens
this
when you do
momentum.
that, but
Push
the
on
amount
to
of
the
loot
task's
that you
end.
get when you have no torch. Okay. Holy water, herbs, farewell.
Arc_water_bot. It is indeed more than one loot.
It is definitely more than one loot. And we'll shove a key in there.
A handsome reward.
Oh,
for a
goody,
task
a
well
torch.
performed.
Yeah, we'll give up the band-aids for that. That is good. I'm content with this. I'd better be after all that. And
Their squeals
maybe
fade.
a
Their
level 4
confidence is
out of
shaken.
this? lot of heirlooms.
Arc
Apologies.
_water_bot. Dun 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 dun.
Few too many duns there, Ark. Okay, so our flagellant has developed night blindness. Okay, less damage if torch is low, alright. And he has a monk's mind, which increases his bleed and blight resist, as well as his cure chance. Interesting. Well, the spam filter is a different bot than the text, so it's just yeah, I mean, another person in my chat ran across that because they wanted to write bong 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 for all of the quest, and the spam filter caught them. And I hadn't actually adjusted the spam filter text, so he didn't know if it was that he had said a forbidden word or if he was spamming or what. So I did adjust the text so that you're warned that you're spamming. Okay, our salamander has also developed Monk's Mind, which is kind of useless. For salamanders don't have heal skills, but at least it does give extra bleed and blight resist, considering how much time she spent blighted in this dungeon. The air has developed On Guard, greater speed and dodge on the first round. I'll certainly take that. And the Vestal has developed a disease of gray rot. Increases her HP, but decreases her accuracy and damage. Interesting. I might actually leave her diseased. Vestals don't need to be accurate or damaging, but that extra HP is really a high number. And yes, it does look like, I believe that's the salamander, might have made it to level 4. Let's find out. Back to town.
There is a great horror beneath the manor. A crawling chaos that must be destroyed.
Imagine getting disease and like, no, it's better to have this one. Yeah. Okay, the monk no longer has immune suppression. Hurrah. Renaud, our crusader, has effective quirk treatment. It is no longer afraid of the eldritch. And our Vestal Dacra has had her quirk Hippocratic made permanent, so it can't be overwritten by another one. Our Shield Breaker is still missing. And our Salamander has indeed made it to level 4. My very first level 4! Renaud underwent exposure therapy. It's entirely probable. And everybody lived through the dungeon. So, unequip all trinkets, sort them according to class. Let's have a look at the stagecoach. Now, we want a 4th for our sacrificial team. So, it's going to be the salamander, the butcher, or the occultist. The salamander is hard-skinned and musical. That would go well with the jester, one must admit. Is easier to stun and gets extra stress, though. The butcher is a ruins explorer and is fated, has a chance to turn any miss into a hit. Interesting. Receives less healing from weird reconstruction, which is the occultist healing, so that's not a big issue because we are not looking at an occultist here. And just attack advantage on marked and stunned individuals. Alright. And also has the yips, which gives him less that goes perfectly well with the chance to turn any miss into a hit, doesn't it? Oh, that's very sweet, mister. I hope you sleep well. Alright, so that's the butcher, and then the occultist is a fair weather fighter if his HP is pretty much full. He does more damage, and he's obsessed with the paranormal. You know what? We're gonna take the salamander. Noted the salamander shall make number 4. And while we're here, how many exorcists do I have? Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. I already have 2 exorcists. So this one would have to be pretty amazing. Less stress, greater accuracy, damage, and crit on the first round. Oh, I can get in. It's the getting out that's the issue. But is unhygienic, which less resist on blight, debuff, and... Oh no, wait, extra blight resist, extra debuff resist, but less disease resist. Interesting. And slow reflexes. This one has advanced medical training. Will only pray, and has less disease resist. And this one is a medical researcher, which I have not actually had come through for me yet. A clotter, and a weapon tinkerer who with night blindness. This guy is pretty good though. Let's just... We'll change his color so that he's not the same color as the other 2. There, that's different enough, I guess. Anytime an adventurer dies. I don't know. The way that I've been going, you might not get very drunk either way. I mean, I've been succeeding, but slowly. That's strange. Okay, I'm not sure what happened to the chat there, but... I swear I didn't touch anything. Okay, so we know that we're taking the level 0s to the darkest dungeon this week, quote unquote. So... where is another... Well, actually, we have a level 4 now, so what do we want to... Do we want to lock something, or do we want to take off her bad gambler? actually, we want to lock in either Hard-Skinned or Beast Slayer there. But which one? That is the question. Protection or damage? Yes, the message did get deleted, but I'm not sure if I deleted it or if the bot deleted it. You know what? Hard-Skinned. Survivalism! Another 8,000. Wait, what's in that syringe? And another one of our level 3 Vestals should have something done for her. Not sure which one. Let's find out. Oh, Pierrepoint here is also Hippocratic. That is absolutely getting locked in. There's another 8,000. Straight down the drain. Whoosh. The way I play the game, either 6 characters need to die or 6 successful adventures need to happen for me to feel anything. Well, I am going to the darkest dungeon. It's likely that people are going to die. And while I'm in town, is anybody really stressed? Does anybody have anything to share with the class? Nope. Scrolling. This is the problem with having a really large roster. Alright. Ice the Flagellant, Maudit the Salamander, Vaubaran the Jester, and Vivil the Lamia. Oh, they're already begging me not to go. It wouldn't last a minute. They're not happy. They're not happy. They're not happy. But we're going anyway. I might just be a little bit cruel on this one. Let's see. We have the goal of this quest is to kill one shuffling horror. My personal goal is to get into at least one battle. They're fighting naked and alone. If the Darkest Dungeon quest is abandoned, not all heroes are guaranteed to survive. Someone must sacrifice themselves to hold off the fiends during retreat. You're cruel, but not like my nemesis cruel. Actually, let's cancel that embark because, you know, what skills do these guys have? Well, the Lamia has all the skills. Jester, Dirk Stab, Harvest, Finale, and Solo. None of the stress heals. None of the Jester does not have the stress heals. So, you know, the fact that the Salamander was chosen because of the Jester stress heal is now useless and pointless, because I'm spending as little money as possible on these guys, let's face it. This is a very sacrificial team. The Salamander has everything. Yeah, we'll just leave them like that. And the Flagellant can attack the front row, can heal, a little stress heal, and has the transfer, but can't attack the back row. Oh boy. I don't care what their trap chance is. Their trap chance means nothing. Off we go. Yes, still a mark. Oh, look at that. There's a fire. Hope springs eternal in these hearts. Go in with no supplies. Nah. I'm gonna pretend to myself. I'm not gonna pretend very hard, but I'm gonna pretend to myself. No, Ark. We're going to take some torches. Just nowhere near enough. This is what I'm taking. I do not expect success. We're going anyway. Team Doom on the way. Here we go.
Once again, the stars are right, and the manor sits at the very epicenter of cosmic unrest. Cultists rally to their twisted idols, and great gongs sound in anticipation of the coming sacrifices. Far below, life-laden shadows pulse to the unrelenting rhythm of a beating heart.
Rapturous cultists will give their lives to protect their allies. I mean, I feel like I'm playing a game called Darkest Dungeon. Before I take it on break, I really need to go to the Darkest Dungeon, so why not get the achievement, which I just did, for taking 4 level 0s into the Darkest Dungeon. By the way, the achievement is called Like Lambs to the Slaughter, just in case anyone was curious. This dungeon is too difficult for me! Look at how much stress they already have. This is amazing. Starting the dungeon with 70 stress each. Oh no, where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, the choices are endless.
The blood of the fallen flows ever downward along these titan spires. The creature fattens itself on your failures.
Perhaps the most difficult you've seen. Yeah. But honestly, you know, it's nice to see some color. Look at all that color, even if it's just one color. Just so much color. Alright, everybody, forward. March. Come on, move your butts. Rapturous cultists. Oh, and me without a guard break. Oh, they heal too. They heal by chewing on themselves. Wait a minute. Aha! This is a guard break. Look at everybody surviving these battles. Just look at that. Oh, so much survival going on here. Why? The one thing is, if I keep damaging them, they'll just keep healing on their turns, and this will just go on forever. Oh, guard failed. Oh no. Sure, okay. I can't remember if the salamander can do anything. Oh, yes, salamander can do something useful from back there.
The slow death.
Oh, hey, look at that. We killed one.
Unforgiving.
Just move back. He wasn't even damaged. Do these things not actually have any attacks? Is that what's going on here?
To perform beyond one's limits.
I don't think these things have any attacks. Just got super unlucky and encountered 2 heal blockers. For some reason, that is grayed out, and I don't understand why. I'm not going to touch it, though, because last time I touched it, it disappeared. Continuing. For some reason, your text in your previous message arc is grayed out on my tablet, and I don't know why.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And no prizes. No prize except for survival. Alright, continuing. The heck is this? I have not actually gone into the Darkest Dungeon on any of my playthroughs. This is my first time in here, so yeah, I don't know what to expect besides horror and unhappiness. Oh, and he dodged my Lamia. Couldn't dodge the fire, though. Death Flash!
To a killing blow.
Oh boy, that's a significant tentacle there. Rapturous. Okay. Yeah, stab him. There's a lot of tentacle going on here. I don't think I like this. The finger. I don't think my salamander likes being fingered.
The walls close in. The shadows whisper of conspiracy.
Sure, let's stab him again. Oh, nope, I guess not. Eeny, meeny, let's see, 11, 12, okay. Oh, 2 whole points! Salamander does not appreciate being fingered. She's also bleeding a hell of a lot. Nobody seems to be enjoying this. Alright, we've got 2 paranoids and a
The mind
rapturous
cannot
now.
hope to withstand such an assault.
There's some jokes in what you mentioned. Believe it. Yeah, might be a better idea.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Still no prizes. Everybody's feeling it a little. Well, I haven't won anything worth losing. So, let's light up a torch and go in the room. That's not a threatening doorway at all. I'm not sure what I expected, but I'm almost disappointed. Of all the skills to use, you use the one that reduces your hit points. I honestly didn't expect them to still be alive to reach the room.
The abyss. Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Ouch. Yeah, my salamander is not looking good. Especially since she just refused to be healed.
Surgical precision.
Well, it was a nice salamander while it lasted. Oh my goodness, she dodged.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
Oh, I forgot to cure the salamander's bleeding. What are you doing back there, boy? I don't want you back there. The fact that the salamander still isn't dead is kind of a miracle. Oh boy. Oh, the heal doesn't work on himself. That's charming. I do wish the salamander would stop doing that. I mean, it's awesome damage, but...
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
I just... Yeah, the salamander is definitely trying to go out in a blaze of glory here. That's a new one.
Survival
there he
is
goes.
a tenuous proposition in this sprawling tomb.
And the Lamia has become abusive. Yeah, I would have bet on the salamander. Yeah, I'm trying to do that, but for some reason my Streamlabs is being very slow to respond to my commands. Ah, there we go. Bring up the death tracker. This is ridiculously slow. There must be a faster way to do this. Death count, now 1. There we go. Okay,
The blood pumps. The limbs obey.
do it after the battle seeker right for. I don't know. At the moment, they're lower on hit points than I am.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Either way, I'm leaving after this battle, but at the moment, they're lower on hit points than I am. I think this team has actually done really, really well for being a bunch of level 0s in what is nominally a level 6 area. Oh, how dare you dodge. It's a question of whether or not the salamander or the jester are going to have a heart attack before that happens, though. These are dodgy, dodgy bastards. They really like attacking the salamander, though. Oh, thank goodness for the dodging. See, look at that. Look what the Lamia did. And now the salamander's refusing healing on top. Okay, let's just... There's a lot of stupid stuff going on here, but...
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. More dust, more ashes, more disappointment.
Three heart attacks in this dungeon. Okay. Okay. There we go. Oh, is there really nothing she can do from the second slot? Ugh. Fine.
The abyss returns
Even the boldest gaze.
Let's see. Oh, these guys have high resistance to everything, do they? Yeah, there's nothing I can do for the Jester now. Absolutely nothing. He lives or he dies. I have no control anymore.
Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
We won! Somehow.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
The salamander did make it a lot further than I thought she would. Alright, we're out of here. That poor Jester. He's just standing there. I have 0 HP. Do you heal? Away we go. Oh, they'll suffer stress, will they? Wait, yeah, okay, fine. Oh, two more rooms. No, we're leaving. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. The fiends are closing in, and a random hero must give their life to ensure the others will escape from the darkest dungeon. Really abandon this quest? The choice of... I don't even get to choose.
Where there is no peril in the task, there can be no glory in its accomplishment.
Oh, we got back 70 gold from that. And the Jester is the one who made it out. It took the Lamia. Death counter's getting used tonight, boy howdy. He had 0 HP, and yet he's the one who survived. And he became clumsy on top of that. Well, that went better than I thought it would, but...
Any evidence of excessive exertions must be made scarce. After all, appearances must be maintained.
Oh my. Laundry day. Bed sheets and pillowcases gleam white on the line, their lascivious history easily erased, unlike the consciences of those who sullied them. The brothel is locked, but the cost of the gambling hall and the bar are reduced. Okay. Our Vestal has successfully had the Quirk Hippocratic locked. The Salamander has had reinforcement therapy and is now hard-skinned permanently with the extra protection. Hey! Our Shieldbreaker has finally returned from her drunken bender. Welcome back, Lors. And everybody, except for the Jester, died on that last mission. And down here, way down, so far down, we have one really stressed out Jester. Now the fun thing about this is because I am playing on darkest difficulty, This guy will refuse to set foot in the darkest dungeon ever again. But in any case, he has served his purpose, and I'm sending his paranoid ass away. So everybody say goodbye to Vobodon. You did good. You survived. Go someplace else.
The task ahead is terrible, and weakness cannot be tolerated.
Sending him away for his paranoia. Who really wants a paranoid jester? We'll find out. Or he'll find out. We won't. Well, that was a week of hilarity. What have we got in the stagecoach now? Okay, we have another soothsayer, and I am trying to have 2 of everything, so let's have a look at this one. Second wind, extra damage if her HP is really, really low. That's nice. Gothic, oh, extra healing from weird reconstruction. I really need to remember to use my occultists more often, you know? And she's a risk taker. She does extra damage, but she has less dodge. Sure, let's fool around with that. And we can have her stand in the 3rd row most of the time, I guess. Alright. In we come. Now, I think the monk is another one that I have only 1 of. No, I have 2 monks, so this guy is going to have to be pretty special. He is not. As a cove adventurer is so-so. Calm is not great. Obsessed with material things means he's going to keep touching everything. There's no reason to level this guy. Speaking of which, we have a 3rd flagellant. Extra damage if his HP is low. Obsessed with demons. Oh, believes he's possessed by demons. Apologies. Misread. Just don't tell these new people about me. I've done it. I don't need to do it again. Well, the question is he any better than this level 1 that I already have? No, he is not. Even though I would have to spend more money on the one that I already have, he's so much better. That is true. Okay, and we have another man-at-arms. Oh, one who likes to go trinketless. But his extra damage when a torch is low, which I rarely ever do, and will only gamble when he's in town. Well, he gets to go back. Nobody gets to join us from the stagecoach this week. All natural, au naturel. And is anyone stressed out enough to justify sending them to a half-price bar? Especially after we just got lures back from a 3-week bender. You know what, can we? Let's double check. We can! We're going to send the Vestal drinking this week. Now, let's see. Is there anything that we want to lock in on this air? I don't know. I don't know. What about getting rid of a locked trait? What are our level 3s suffering from? I don't actually care. What about Docker here? Oh, fear of mankind, huh? Yeah, let's get rid of her fear of mankind. Shackles? Okay. And let me get to, where is my list? There it is. Alright, where is the Vestal Dakar on my list? I've been keeping a list of all the characters who have traits locked in, or negative traits locked in. I hadn't actually been keeping track of their level on that, so Alright, so there it is. Alright, cross out fear of mankind. And do you have anything locked in that's terrible? Nah, you're just a bad gambler, and I don't really like to send people gambling anyway, so... Moving on up the list. Cruel gets more bad traits. Well, he is cruel. Yeah, you know what? Let's get rid of Mai's weak grip. That's just an annoying thing on a melee fighter. Okay, so we can't use that Vestal or the Grave Robber for this week's questing. Oh, I didn't give anybody trinkets, so that didn't produce any. So, what do we have? The current suggestion is to run this quest for gathering medicines in the Weald, which will result in a Grave Robber purse that I think I already have. I think I specifically went out, yeah, I went out and got one of those. It does result in a caregivers convention, though, which is very tempting, given that I am, you know, trying to treat all my level 3s now. What's this one up here? Activate corrupted altars. Nah, let's gather medicines. We're gonna try to treat some more people. I don't really need the satchel, but I would really like that free treatment. I'm spending a lot of money on treatments right now. So, for the Weald, what do I want for the Weald? I want bleed for the Weald. As I remember, is if it starts with W, you want to take bleed there. Who do I have who bleeds things? Come to think of it, I have this milkmaid that I want to level. Oh, and she's a Weald explorer. That's handy. We'll take her. we have this air that is a pain in the butt to level. Where does she even want to stand? Yeah, I don't wanna do that. Perhaps one of the druids. Are either of these particularly good in the Weald? Not particularly. It's a pity about the thorn, but Chartres here does not mind standing in the back slot, so let's take the druid. Perhaps we should take our level 0 occultist. Although, no, he doesn't actually have the skill that does extra damage to eldritch beings, so this is not his best. Heck, he doesn't even have a proper damage at all. Dang. Where's another one of our level 0s? Let's work our way up and find our level 0s. We've got a few around somewhere. Well, we have the new Soothsayer. It's a pity she can only use this calm mind thing from the back. Sure, let's take Ballard here. And who shall we have in the front row? We could take the level 0 Hellion. She is an Eldritch hater. Let's see, that wants to be in the front row, that one doesn't mind, that one absolutely wants to be in the front row, and this one does not care. Yes, we'll take Bourdette here. It's a weird group we're taking. Now, this is a camping mission, so let's check here. Wound care, loud complaining. And cleanse campsite. Alright, we're good on that front. Yeah, this'll have to do. Let's see how this does. And since it is a green level quest, I'm not going to bother giving them any trinkets. Okay. Anti-venom, bandages, herbs, all the shovels. Keys, holy water. The food. I guess I'll take a couple more bottles of laudanum just in case. And 15 torches. Yeah, I think I have everything. I even have laudanum, which I don't normally bring along. I have way too much food because the milkmaid doesn't actually eat, but eh. Off we go. Blight and bleed damage. Ignore the enemy's protection. I don't know that this team is going to synergize very well together, but hopefully the Hellion will just do enough damage to make up for that. Ah, there we go.
Our land is remote and unneighbored. Every lost resource must be recovered.
Yep. Lost resource, he says. And you know what? I didn't check trap chance either, because I'm just that kind of memory. This place is very weirdly shaped. Alright, room battle with treasure, curio. Okay, quest item is not in the immediate area. Up we go. Oh, it's a grave. Yeah, we'll use a shovel just this once.
If only treasure could staunch the
Okay.
flow of otherworldly corruption.
It's a start. Okay, I think I'm going to go off on the short arm to the left first. Oh, one of these. Could be good, could be bad, could be indifferent. Soothsayer, have a go. Touch it. Nope. Rejection. Okay, and here's a trap. 60%, 60%, 70%, 60%. Interesting. Alright, milkmaid, have a go. Nope.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
We're off to an excellent start. I probably should have cured her blight before we came in here.
Precision and power.
Okay. Let's see if we can Iron Swan this guy in the back. Oh!
Obliterated.
Oh, brutal. Thank you for dodging. Good druid, you get a cookie sometime. Alright, that thing is definitely dead. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
A death by inches.
What are these things bleed resist? 20%! Alright. Bleed, baby, bleed. Try to get some extra healing going on the Soothsayer, because she's getting tore up. spending all our healing on the soothsayer. There we go. Look at that tick. Ooh, plus 50% stress. Let's leave that alone for now. Let's see what this does. I chose a party and sallied forth into the Weald. Otherwise, nothing major yet. Although the soothsayer is not having a good day.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
That attack looks weird, but it sure does a lot of damage for a level 0.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Well, that was definitely a weird-ass start. Alright, let's shove a key into that chest. Very nice. Oh dear. Choices already? Let's see. 500 versus 250. Okay, curio. Oh, quest location. I was right to come this way. And a map. Is it one of the weird ones? Nope, it just covers the area that I've already scouted. Alas. Everybody eat up. And just in case there's a battle, although it didn't say there was one. See, now I'm glad that I checked. Or now that I'm glad I turned up the torch. Why do all of them get to go before my people do? Okay, we'll get a party restoration going here. And we will Iron Swan. Oh! Oh, it missed.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Okay. We'll continue dealing with the stress dealers. I do wish that they would...
Continue the onslaught.
There we go.
Destroy them all.
Just gonna keep the healing going here.
Ringing ears. Blurred vision. The end approaches.
This dungeon really seems to have it in for my soothsayer. go. Now people are looking a little more put together.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Alright, we got a medicine. Now we just need to figure out a slot to put it in. 'Cause, yeah. I'll give up the onyx. Fine, just because it's a quest material. Alright, we'll go back and then we'll head right, I think. Yes, to the right. Okay, you use bandages on the tree, on the spider web, sorry, for some reason.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Inventory, why are you so small? I'm not going to bother with that grave. Right. I mean, I actually have inventory mods, but it's inventory mods that allow me to have greater stacks, not to have more stacks. The majority of the inventory mods are not actually compatible with each other, so you have to choose, basically. And I decided on bigger stacks so that I would be able to have things like single stacks of food. Like, I shouldn't be able to have 21 food in a stack here. It's supposed to be 12 food to a stack. And see, there's an obstacle. I prefer to have my shovels for obstacles. Room battle with treasure, an empty room, curio. Oh, quest! Excellent. Alright, onwards. Feed everybody.
Wealth beyond measure.
We'll get the second medicine.
Awarded to
We
the
just have
brave
one
and the
left to go now.
foolhardy alike. Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
Oh, hey! The big mushroom guys, but without the little ones. It is unfair that they get to go first. And let's javelin the backmost one.
A time to perform beyond one's
And we'll
limits.
see if we can Iron Swan her. Yeah, there we go. Oh, good, she dodged.
The blood quickens.
I could have ignored her, but I hate those people. Yeah, I'll just pop one of these on our soothsayer since she seems to be such a popular target tonight. Let's see, 2 and... okay, that one's done.
A momentary abatement.
So we'll just start beating on the front one here.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Well, I could do pretty much anything I want here, but I'm just gonna hit it. That's a lot of stuff
Be
that I
wary.
can't carry.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall. Glittering
Oh,
gold.
yep, more stuff I
trinkets
can't
and
carry.
marbles, paid for in blood.
Yet more stuff I cannot carry. Alright, we'll just continue downwards. Might as well turn up the torch, I guess. Oh! Good thing I did. Man, I do not like spiders critting on me.
Be gone, fiend.
Good start.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands. Another one.
Oh! It would appear the Hellion doesn't like spiders any more than I do.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Alright, heading onwards.
Finding the stuff is only the
Oh,
first
extra
test.
food. Very nice.
Now it must be carried home.
Room battle with Curio, huh? It's not the quest, but... I can't carry the stuff anyway. Nah, I'm going back. It's not the quest thing. I can't carry much more than the quest thing. We'll head it back. Alright, the current plan is to go back to this cross room. Then head up to that empty room that is directly above it, ignoring the grave. And camp there, and then explore the rest until the medicine is found. Sure, let's shove a key into that luggage.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Well, I might not be able to take the jade, but there were some deeds in there, so I'm going to be happy about it. This is a really long hallway to have nothing in it, just by the way. The dice rolled very strangely for this dungeon. Yeah, but in this universe, an empty hallway, you don't see that very often. Okay, scouting. What have we got? Zoom back in. Curio, obstacle, curio, battle, quest location. Yep, we're going to camp here, and then we're going to go straight to the quest location, and then we're going to see what we have left for that last room. Or possibly the room with the battle in it down there, although I don't know that I want to walk all the way back down there, honestly. That's going to be at least 3 more hunger checks, and I don't know that I have enough food for that.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
This game is weird. Yeah, the game's weird. The game's weird. Alright, everybody eats. Get some stress relief, which the milkmaid doesn't get to share. We will cleanse the campsite. And as usual, that leaves us with 8. She doesn't have 25 stress, so let's not bother with that. Less stress and heal, but she doesn't need any of those. She can sing a song that gives the party speed and HP for 4 battles. That is tempting. That's 4 points. Oh, you get 15% HP damage if you do that, huh? Extra scouting chance, but more stress. And stress out your companions to reduce your own stress, but she only has 26, so... Plus 25% damage if in position 1, you say. Yes, we're going to do this. And then we're going to sing a song. Sadly, I don't think anyone has anything that costs 1 point. Alas. We shall sleep on the 1 point. It's interesting that Milkmaid would mention.
Clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Nah. I can barely carry anything as it is. An empty crate, huh? Oh boy. they're surprised. Gonna do our best to get rid of the artillery first.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Hurrah! That means that nobody is marked, so these guys are just left with groping. And I've got an all-female party, so it's just getting weird from this point onwards. Groping and groping and groping.
Confluence of skill and purpose.
Apparently it's very painful groping. Apparently they're just squeezing way too hard. Let's see, 4 and 5.
Masterfully executed.
Yes, that too. I mean, no groping is good, but non-consensual groping is the worst.
Success so clearly in view.
Well, now
Or
that
is
this
it merely a trick of the light?
now that this party is starting to get the swing of things, it's going a little better. Oh, great. 2 fungal artillery. Oh, so close and yet so far. One down. And more groping. Oh, she dodged the groping. She saw it coming.
A decisive pummeling.
That was quite a crit.
Eradicated.
I can't complain about how quickly the fungal artillery was taken out. Especially when they failed to mark anyone before they died. So now it's just groping again. Oh no! I knew things were going too well.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Yeah, we'll give her a bit of food.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
am going to continue adventuring. I'm gonna venture over to the right and see what's there. They've all lived so far. I haven't left the dungeon yet, so it's still so far. I'm not using up a shovel. Survey says there's a curio and a battle. Eh, fine. Let's do the thing. Ah, it's a torch. Oh, and of course the last battle has an ecto in it.
Executed with impunity.
Eh.
Back to the pit.
Oh no, Loppy. Oh, sorry. This is a different Hellion. I have two. Hello, Loppy. Your Hellion is safe at home. Your Hellion is absolutely safe. This is Bordette, her twin.
Secrets and wonders can be found in the most tenebrous corners of this place.
Oh, all
As
that.
victories
200.
mount, so too will resistance.
She does have a twin. Oh ho ho ho. There is really no point in walking through the dark. So, home we go.
These tonics and herbs will stave off infection and neutralize contagion.
Okay, so we made back about 8,000, so we've paid for one person's treatment out of all that. Alright, the milkmaid has developed has extra stress if human monsters are alive. Not great. And the druid has become a nervous bleeder. Less accuracy while bleeding. Thankfully, I mostly use my druids for healing, so... And has become a meditator. Improves stress reduction while meditating and while camping. That's not bad. That's not a useless quirk at all. Oh, it's possible. There might be a triplet if
The preponderance of rare and exotic injuries makes this place perfect for the study of suffering.
Yes, among the visiting delegation are experts in corporeal and cognitive disability, as well as several forensic specialists. So now the treatment ward and the medical ward are free. Vestal Pierpont had a night on the town and recovered 56 stress. Mai underwent effective treatment and no longer has a weak grip. She's strengthened up those tendons. And our Vestal Dakra no longer has a fear of mankind. Yay! And the druid who went on the adventure is now level 2. And the soothsayer and Burdette, the not Loppy's lover's Vestal, sorry, not Vestal, Hellion, are both level 1. Hooray! So everybody got to live through that dungeon. Although, as newcomers may notice, Loppy, the death counter is looking a little more robust than it normally does. But now, the question is, can I afford to get that last treatment ward cell? I'm still 20 short. Well, 18. I'm still 18 short. Let's see. If we say switch this to crests, how many crests do I need to get that many statues? 54. Okay, it's 60. I have 44. I need 16, not 18. Math? What's math? Math is an undiscovered territory here in the Darkest Dungeon.
Experimental techniques and tonics can overcome things a sharpened sword cannot.
Exactly! I'm a writer. I remember words. I don't remember words. But yes, now we can send 3 people for free treatment. The question is whom? Whom shall I send? Who has a locked-in trait that's really awful? Oh, here we go. Joubert the Cataphract is obsessed with food. Not good. Not a good one. Where are my cataphracts? There we go. Joubert. We are getting rid of that obsession. Where's my pen? We can cross that off the list. What else have we got? Oh, right. Now that Lors is finally back, Lors is a dud hitter. Our shield breaker. I've scrolled too far for my shield breakers. There we go. Lors here is a dud hitter. Loses crit if her HP is low. Lors is getting that cured. And for our third one, just a little bit further down the list, my list here, Roger, the Commandant, although he is low level, has developed a fear of Eldritch. That is going as well. Wait, what's in that syringe? Okay, that is a lot of stuff crossed off. I'm feeling pretty good. We still have so many people on the list. So many people on the list. Oh dear. However, I think we are pretty much disease-free, except for that one Vestal that I'm going to leave diseased on purpose. Even doing 2 trips through the Warrens in a row did not end up with too many diseased people, except for that one Vestal. As Pierpont here developed Grey Rot, which gives her a lot more HP, like massive HP. There's 41 points of HP on the healer. But it also reduced her accuracy and her damage, which don't affect her healing at all. So she's going to Grey Rot away. All is well. And we even came out of that dungeon not very stressed. So, Stagecoach. Oh, we have a third Hellion attempting to join us. This one will not be joining us though, because despite being a wheeled tactician, which is pretty awesome, combined with a fear of beasts is not so great. And also less bleed resist against those monster groping fungal boys. Nope. She will not be joining us today. Well, she might have a fear of those too. I didn't ask. Alright, we have another druid here. Extra speed if the torch is low. Scouting chance in the cove. Less speed if the torch is... Okay, so she cancels herself out. The Night Owl and the Diurnal completely cancel each other out. And she has less accuracy while she's bleeding. Nah. Alright, another Flagellant. Extra speed if his HP is low, but less damage on the first round. Would that be the coveted double facepalm? You know what? Let's take Vernon here. Let's take Vernon. And another abomination. How many abominations do I have? I already have 2. He has less healing skills. Ha ha ha. This is bad because he has a self-heal. Admittedly, he only has a self-heal, but and he does less damage if his HP is low. That's a bad combo. That's not worth the extra stun resist. He gets to go back where he came from, wherever that was. Okay. And I didn't give any trinkets, but let's sort our trinkets while we're here. We'll just chuck this party out. What do we have on offer? Where shall we send our massive number of level 1 characters? What place needs leveling? Well, the Cove and the Warrens are the lowest right now. The big dungeon. I've been there! I've been there. That's why the death counter looks like it does. You must make it further than the zeros. Well, I would hope that the level 1s would make it further than the level 0s did in the Darkest Dungeon, but I wouldn't bet on it. Let's see. Activate 3 protective wards. And that gets upper glasses for the Stargazer. Accuracy ignores stealth, less dodge. Do I have opera glasses? Let's check the list. I do. I do have opera glasses. So that lowers the priority. What do we have in the Warrens here? Oh, bumper crop. Bumper crop makes it so that the provisions for the next quest along cost less. That's a pretty good one. What's the prize for this one? A protective padlock for the abomination. Extra protection at the cost of a speed. Nice. Do I have one? I know I have a lock, I just don't remember which lock. Oh, I have more than one lock. Okay, I have a transference and 2 locks of patience. But I don't have a protective padlock. Sure, that's a good event. And I don't have that trinket. So let's go back to the Warrens. Let's take the new boy. Verdon, do you like pigs? And I'd like to take along the highwayman. I think he could use some leveling. Yeah, let's take the highwayman. I believe that his skills will work from the 3rd slot. Well, that one won't, but yeah, all of the others will. And you know what? Let's take one of the Houndsmasters. Let's take one of the Houndsmasters too. Daredevil musical ruins adventure with a guilty conscience and unhygienic. Versus Rusty here, who has no negative quirks whatsoever. Sure, let's take Rusty. Even though he's not here, let's take Rusty. Now, who shall heal for this ridiculous trick? Sure, let's take Somnary. Somnary could use some experience. Do I want to raise her healing before we do this? No, but I do want to check her camping skills. She does have Sanctuary, all is well. I don't care about the others. Most likely this is our trap man. 50... Well, he and the highwayman team can duke it out together. Because, yeah, they're the highest. Look, 10% on the flagellant. Even the Vestal has better trap disarming chances than the flagellant does. So... and all the shovels, all the food. And a bunch of torches. And this is the point that I am going to take a break, because I've been at this for about 3 hours, and it is time for a stretch and to refill my coconut water and all of that marvelous stuff. So, I will be right back after I've stood up and shaken out all of my tense joints, and I will see you all in just a few minutes.